Hazards on, and here we go.
What would happen if you gave a motor racing legend a car and let him do what he liked with it?
Here we go.
Let him drop it, crash it, smash it, roll it, dunk it.
The water is coming through where the gear knob was. And we're tipping down. I need to get my seatbelt on.
Or completely destroy it. Wow, we put Greg Murphy in some of the most terrifying situations you'll ever find yourself in on the road.
First thing to do is stay in the car. Apparently, it's safer.
To find out what you should do
Starting to look very close now.
if this happens.
I just looked in the mirror and saw panic.
Yes, it's the Mighty Murph versus the machine.
It is amazing.
This is the show about what not to do on our roads.
Wow.
About how to walk away from the worst case scenario.
I'm all right.
Also, each week we're going to ask IndyCar champ Scott Dixon to help us get out of danger.
The worst thing you want to do is leave the car in gear.
And that's all on Crash Course. Coming up tonight, slamming the brakes on driving like you've never seen before. From too fast
143, 147, 149.
to too slow.
Something at 50 to 55 kilometres an hour on the main highway.
Scott Dixon on what to drive and Cap's ratings on the safest car.
Well, most of our new cars are actually safety tested across the Tasman.
And Murph takes on a train.
I think I know how this is going to end.
Built yourself in for another fast ride on Crash Course.
Welcome to tonight's show. Each week, Kiwi Rail has a reported 20 near misses on level crossings.
Ripped apart. This is all that remains of a car that was involved in a collision with a train at a crossing near Blenheim last night. The two teenagers in the car were lucky to survive. Rescued using the jaws of life.
In the game of car versus train, there is only ever going to be one winner. So what happens if you decide to play chicken with a train and lose? Well, we decided to find out.
Indeed, with the help of Kiwi Rail, we're going to take a pre-loved Nissan Sentra
And let it go head-to-head with this. It weighs 400 tonnes, costs a lot, and has a top speed of 100 k's an hour. At that speed, it can take a kilometre to stop. We'll park the Sentra on the track and let the train hit it at a relatively slow 65 k's an hour, while I watch from a distance.
And while we and Kiwi Rail get this controlled collision organised, here's what we caught on camera out on the local beat.
143, 147, 149. 149.
And Constable Fruish has just clocked a BMW doing 149 in a 100k zone.
I mean, you're just going 149 down the bottom of the hill there.
And naturally, 49k's over is very bad news for this driver.
You lose your licence for 28 days.
28 days.
Yep, anything over 40 over the limit, you lose your licence for 28 days. Why were you going so fast?
I don't know. I didn't realise at first, but then I just saw lights up now and just started going faster.
Okay.
Well, at least the guy's honest. Although, with that loss of licence, also comes a pretty hefty fine.
He's pretty good. He realises he was going too fast. He's been honest. He's not denying it. His fine will be $630.
That was $630. And of course,
He'll get demerit points. There'll be 50 demerit points, and his licence will be suspended for 28 days.
28 days suspended licence. And one final warning from Constable Fruish, and it's good night.
Don't drive at all, eh? Because if you drive, it just gets worse and worse. You get 6 months disqualification for driving suspended. You won't, eh? Okay, mate.
Over the last few weeks, and also just a moment ago, we've highlighted many New Zealanders speeding on our roads. But tonight is the first to be pulled over for driving too slow.
Just basically seen a car travelling south just past me doing around 56 k's on an 80 stretch of road. Being nosy, as most police officers are, I just want to go and see why he's only doing 56 k's in an 80. He did look quite an elderly gentleman, so that could be one of the reasons, but it also could be that he's had a drink and is not able to drive at speed.
And believe it or not, this kind of speed can cause a crash. And not surprisingly, our slow driver pulls over for Constable Stanko with no trouble at all.
Hello there, sir. How are you?
I'm very well.
Good. Can I see your driving licence, please? I'll just tell you the reason why I've stopped you is that you're travelling at 50 to 55 kilometres an hour on the main highway, and it's a speed limit of 80k, so I'm just wondering why you're travelling at that speed. Sorry? Because you're careful. OK. Thank you. Have you had a drink at all today, sir?
I had tea and coffee.
Cool.
But while that's all well and good, there's a compulsory roadside breath test, just in case.
OK, that's all good. The test is negative.
Haha, of course, it's negative. And the only thing our gentleman is in for is a lesson on road safety, which is free of charge.
You've got cars, everybody else travelling at 80, 85 k's on the road, and you're doing 50, 55 k's. They're struggling to stop coming up behind you. They're not expecting somebody travelling so slow. So it creates a hazard that way. Also, by not pulling over and letting them by, you're impeding the flow of traffic, which is an offence to do that. OK? The thing to do is, when it's safe for you to, is to pull over to places like this, stop, let everybody pass you by, so that they can flow at the normal speed. OK? So if you do that, I've got no problem you driving, 50, 60 k's at all, but you've got to let the traffic flow past you, because drivers are in a hurry. They get wound up and upset, and they might do dangerous overtakes and that sort of thing. All right, you have a safe trip. Don't forget your seatbelt. Thank you. He was a nice gentleman who was very polite, etc. I didn't feel the need for him to be given a ticket for it, just a bit of advice and a bit of education about pulling over to the side of the road when it's clear and safe to do so, to let all the traffic flow freely by.
In the meantime, one place you don't want to stop is the tracks, and it's time to talk facts. Each week, 3,400 suburban passenger services, 900 freight trains and 52 intercity trains travel on New Zealand's 4,000-kilometre rail network.
Everyone's seen the pictures in the news reports.
The train bulldozed her vehicle 100 metres along the line.
A goods train struck the back of his car, tearing the bumper off.
The car collided with a goods train that was heading towards the town of Oamaru.
A couple in the car and their 2 children escaped serious injury, but the male driver was airlifted to Christchurch Hospital.
So with all the information and crash statistics, it seems inconceivable that people would want to play chicken with a train. But each year there are 30 injury accidents at level crossings. What is going on? A new study has suggested that people's speed perception is altered due to the length of the train. But it doesn't explain why supposedly sane people would ignore giant flashing lights and warning bells. But then again, some people are just plain stupid.
Just take a look at this. And let's see that again. Which is why we and Kiwi Rail decided to show you what happens to your average family car when it collides with one of these.
I think I know how this is going to end.